Welcome everybody, let's get into it. So this is my very first YouTube video. I hope you guys are very interested into what we're going to be doing today. If you read the title of this video, this is kind of just going to be a feeling free in your energy, in your skin, in yourself. That's the goal that I'm setting this. My whole Christmas for this year is going to be set around that intention, and we're going to talk about how to get there and ways that I want to get there, and an introduction to who I am. My name is Sierra May. If you're interested in following me on any of my social media platforms, I will have them added either on the screen or I'll try to link them in my bio. So let's get into it. So first things first, I want to talk about the intention on why I wanted to start a YouTube channel before I just kind of jump into it. Going very strong. I've always enjoyed watching videos. I've always been a very cinematic. I've always just loved videos, okay? You know, I was on the very saturated YouTube era. I grew up watching Nikki and Gabby. I grew up watching all of the vloggers. I just grew up in the era of YouTube. I was not around for Vine, but I was around for YouTube, okay? And let me tell you, YouTube has always been such an important entertainment to me. Even when I was just like getting into technology as a kid, I've always found comfort in watching videos. And recently I feel like there's been such a strong upbringing of like people being able to make videos, not being an influencer, just making regular videos and their regular lives. And I think that's so beautiful how we're normalizing humanity and normalizing that everybody has boring lives, and that's okay. So for the first video, I kind of want to do something chill. I kind of want to do something laid back for all the girls. So while you're here, get comfortable, like, subscribe, and let's jump into it. So the topic of this video is feeling free in your own skin. I think that's really just the intention I want to set for my full year. Last year I feel like I really focused on doing things that I didn't really doing things that don't fulfill me and setting boundaries in that way. I feel like I had a pretty simple, I don't want to say boring year, but I feel like my year was very chill last year. I didn't really have much I did. It was a very opening up to myself, becoming more vulnerable with myself, and allowing myself to realize that the more you open up to yourself, the more things will come to you. So we're just gonna talk about a couple things in this video, and the first thing we're gonna talk about is insecurities, okay? Insecurities. We all been there. We've all had insecure moments. Don't act like you haven't, because you have. And that might be because you see someone else doing something in their life and you're like, how did they get there? Why am I not there? Or you might see someone in a relationship and you're like, I wish I had that right now. We've all had those moments where we feel insecure, where we feel less than, where we feel like we're not doing enough. I know personally, I felt like I was not getting myself out there enough last year, and that's something on my goal list. My number one goal this year is to put myself out there and to stop being afraid of what people think. I want to be able to experience life in its fullest and not feel like something can hold me back just because of an opinion or if somebody doesn't like what I'm doing. So let's talk about ways to overcome feeling insecure. Let's talk about ways to really be comfortable in your own skin. Standing up for yourself, having a voice, being somebody else's inspiration. One thing I will always strive for is to inspire people and to make sure that I'm bringing the same energy that I would want back to me. And one thing that I have learned throughout my whole life is that you're never going to get something if you expect it to be completely the way you want it to be. Stop having these high expectations of what things look like and just allow them to come to you. one thing that really helped me become comfortable in my skin is to detach myself from what everyone else is doing, to stop comparing myself to everybody else's lifestyle, and to let go of all that insecure just nonsense. Because at the end of the day, what Billy and Bob are doing is not going to be what you're going to want to do. Really realize that your time will come the more you really just sit back and put that work in. Don't just think just because you manifest it's all going to come to you, because that's not how manifesting works. You really have to overcome that internal feeling of that guilt of why do you not think you deserve that in the first place, and why do you think you deserve it, and how can you get it, ways that you're going to work towards it. There's so many things that we have been taught in society to just feel like we're not worthy of, and the moment that we actually have them, we start to feel like our ego comes in and we're like, oh my gosh, we have what we need, now we're this and now we're that. But cut that ego out, let the ego go, and just sit in the present moment of, I deserve this, I worked hard for it, and now I'm gonna sit and enjoy the moment. I feel like something that I realized this year that I want to let go of is not looking for what I can do next that's gonna elevate me, but instead I want to be able to sit in that moment, feel pleased with what I've done, and how this wasn't my life a year ago. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we forget that we had a different perspective a year ago than we do now, and I think that's something that I've really become more aware of as a person. Is this is literally what I manifested for 3 years, and now I have it, and now I'm looking at myself and I'm like, well, this isn't enough, so now I need to like doubt myself even more. But that's not what we're doing anymore. We're letting that go. The next thing we're going to tap into is, for everyone, femininity. Femininity is such a beautiful thing that we honestly don't realize we have. When you're feminine, always mean doing your makeup. That does not always mean looking really pretty. That does not always mean being emotional. Like, femininity is just being able to allow yourself to stay in the rhythm and the cadence of the way things are going, the way things are flowing, being a nurturing energy, not feeling so attached to the need of impressing people, not feeling so attached to that ego, letting go of all of those loud thoughts of what you are supposed to be doing in your feminine energy. I feel like we always associate feminine energy with just women. You don't have to be a woman to have feminine energy. You can be a man. You can be anyone, really. Like, we all have a very feminine energy in us. And we also have a very masculine energy as well. And I think that's something that's so interesting about those things are we're very yin and yang, and we're going to balance ourselves out. And especially if you're someone that believes in astrology, like, I'm a Libra moon, and I definitely feel like for a really long time I was always afraid of being in both of that energy. And as a Libra moon, we kind of see stuff from two different perspectives, and we always kind of want to sit on the narrow end of, like, they're in the middle. And I think that's kind of how it feels to be in tune with your feminine and your masculine energy, is sitting in the middle of both of those and realizing that there are dark parts of you, and there are more masculine parts of you, there are more feminine parts of you, and there's parts of you that you haven't met yet, and that's okay. When I was really becoming into my sexuality and I started to realize that I was into girls, I had a hard time defining, like, what that felt like. And I think we always hear people make jokes about, like, who's the guy in the relationship. Neither one should be the guy, neither one should be the woman. You're both going to kind of coexist with each other and help each other out. So why are we comparing, like, genders? Like, letting go of that gender norm. And feminine energy and masculine energy is not always, like, looking like a certain way. It's kind of just how you present yourself in a room. Like, I think when I view masculine energy, I think of someone that's going to stand strong on their morals, that's going to hold their values high, that's gonna stick up for themselves, that's gonna not just use their voice to be a very like ego loud, but protecting people as well. And I think with feminine energy, you also kind of do that. You use your more sensitive side to guide you. You use your intuition to guide you. You use your in tune thought process to lead you to something that's going to completely shift your perspective in life. Hold on, I'm back. Okay. But yeah, using that mindset of letting yourself being guided by internal feelings, showing those feelings, not being afraid of crying, not being afraid of standing on your boundaries. I know everyone last year was like, I'm gonna stand 10 toes down. I'm like standing on my boundaries, I'm standing on business. Standing on business does not always mean like being rude. That does not always mean like crashing out. That does not always mean like, oh my god, I'm done with you, I'm cutting you off, you don't mean nothing to me. Like, no, like that's not standing on business. That's just being mean. Like, not being mean, that's just being like, that's just like ignoring what you're trying to do. Like, if you're standing on business, like, are you really standing on business if you're not acknowledging why you're standing on business? Like, come on. Like, piece them together, guys. Let's talk about it, okay? Like, let's talk about really what standing on business stands for. I know for me, standing on business is allowing myself to be super open and telling people, hey, I don't like that, can we not do that again? Or, you know, I'm busy today, I can't go out, I'm sorry. Or, I'm trying to save my money, so I won't be able to go to dinner, but I do want to go with you another time if we can reschedule. The next topic I want to talk about is kind of what I was talking about a little bit earlier, but fear of dark feminine energy and fear of like your shadow. As I'm editing this right now, I kind of feel like I want to go more in depth on that topic in the future. So if you guys are interested, I could make more of a historical background and kind of like talking more about just the topic of dark feminine energy and, you know, ways that ancient people would discover that and how it's kind of become what it is today in this society. If you're interested, so let me know. So I know a lot of times people talk about shadow work, and one thing I will talk about, and when it comes to shadow work for me, shadow work is not something you always have to seek out and find. You're gonna literally expect it's gonna come and hit you in the face when you're like, I don't know, you're on a freaking vacation and all of a sudden you see a family walking down the street holding hands and you instantly start feeling jealous of them and you want to cry and throw up because they look happy and you've never had that. It's like, so that is not a great example, and a little bit of dark humor, guys. Not saying this is how I feel. I was just showing an example of like sometimes we do feel jealous of what other families or other people around us might have, and that's okay. So don't shame me, okay? We listen, we do not judge. That could be like a moment where you're like, I need to work on that. I need to work on why does my inner child feel scared of seeing happy families. And shadow work kind of just comes when you least expect it, and that's how you know you're healing. Because if you weren't healing, you would ignore that. You would be like, ew, blocked, don't call. You'd be like, actually, I don't want to talk about this ever again. Let's just pretend like it didn't happen. Let's just leave it alone. Let's just ignore it. But no, instead you're going to take that and you're going to take those feelings and you're going to make them come out and you're going to tell them, hey, it's okay. I do feel this. You're going to hold space for that. You're going to hold energy. You're going to open your arms up. You're going to tap into your feminine energy. You're going to be like, I'm loving you. And your masculine energy is going to be like, it's okay too, because we're going to balance this out. We're not going to be afraid to see what we've always seen and thought that that was wrong. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that, guys. And you're not going to be afraid to just acknowledge that, because we all have those fears of, how does this make me feel as a person? Do I look like a bad person? Am I a bad person for thinking this way? Is someone going to curse me because I said I hate seeing happy families walk on the street? Like, you know what I mean? So really just acknowledging why you feel this way. And that's gonna have a big part into like your goals as you go on, because now you're in a state where you're like, I've noticed it, I've put in the work. When I see that family, if I see a family ever again, you know, I might look at that family and I might find the beauty in that family. I might think they're so beautiful, like they look happy, they look genuinely happy, they're holding hands. I wonder if I can have that. Am I capable of having a family one day? And then you start to question that, and then you're like, you know what, I can. And then you get to a point in life where you end up having the family and there's still more work to do, but you realize that that's okay to acknowledge that and be like, hey, I'm worthy of this, I can have this, it's not too far out of reach. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about healing yourself. And shadow work is layers. It's like an onion. You're not going to just go through one layer and you're going to be done. We're constantly healing as humans. We're constantly holding on to so much trauma in our body that there's no way we're going to heal in a day, in a week, in a year. You have to keep working at it, and it's okay. So I actually did film a outro, but I'm redoing the outro because the video is so long. I'm gonna have to make a part 2. I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry, but we're gonna be coming back because it's a lot to edit, and I realized I was giving myself way too high of a standard of like, I need to get this edited all by this specific day when I have school and work. That was just not a relatable standard for me. So it will be coming out, and the next part of my video will be a different topic. It's not gonna be the same topic. It's gonna be around the same topic, but it's not gonna be like the full same topic. Yeah, so hope you guys are excited about that. And I love you guys so much. Peace and love, and have a beautiful night. Well, it's nighttime for me. It's probably not gonna be nighttime for you guys, but have a beautiful week, have a beautiful day, have a beautiful morning, whatever your time you're watching this. Anyways guys, toodles.